getting the roll call here. And we're off the start here. Looks like a clean start for all the crews. In this first 250 meters, say Stanford's got a few seat lead on Radcliffe, who's got a few seat lead to BU and Wisconsin here, and MIT with already about a few seats of open water. Radcliffe rowing about a 34 in this headwind. Got Stanford out with about a 6-seat lead. Then Radcliffe. We've got Wisconsin and BU pretty neck and neck behind them, followed by MIT here. And as we're coming into the first 500 here, Radcliffe look like they're digging in a bit back into that Stanford lead. Stanford's got about maybe 4 seats now. Then Wisconsin seem to have gotten an edge over BU here. Wisconsin with their bow ball on the Radcliffe stroke seat. And Wisconsin with about a seat or 2 on BU. Radcliffe look like they're about 3 seats down now on Stanford. Radcliffe and Stanford making that push away from the other boats. Radcliffe looking like they're trying to close Stanford's lead here. Radcliffe down to about 2 to 3 seats here. You can see the Radcliffe 7-seat riding right about the Stanford coxswain. Radcliffe has open water back to Wisconsin now. And as this chop gets a little bit heavier, about 750 meters in, you can see the rowers swinging back, nice and smooth. I'd say Radcliffe is down about a seat now or so on Stanford. As we're starting to get into this middle 1,000 here. Radcliffe making a move forward. Traditionally, if I remember right, back in my day, we used to have our Radcliffe 20 move here. Let's see if Radcliffe can get back in the game with that move. Radcliffe looks like they're moving forward here. Nice and steady with that stroke rate. That's it, Radcliffe moving forward here, making that move in the middle 1,000. I'd say Radcliffe has about a seat lead on Stanford now. And it looks like Radcliffe has a bit of a lead on Stanford now, with MIT and with BU and Wisconsin in the back, and MIT with about 2 lengths of open water behind Wisconsin and BU. And Radcliffe looks like they're making that push, making that stride against Stanford now. With the angle here, it's a little hard to tell how far ahead they are. I'd say Radcliffe is up a few seats, probably about 6. And coming into about the last 600 meters here, calling it with Radcliffe in the lead, followed by Stanford we've got the race between BU and Wisconsin here. Those two crews having been pretty neck and neck for this race, and then lots of open water back to MIT. That's it. Looks like Radcliffe is holding that lead now over Stanford as they come into the 500-meter mark past the MIT boathouse. Radcliffe holding now probably about a boat length lead on Stanford in this last 500 meters now. In the sprint of the race, got the coxswain urging her crew just start making that sprint here, picking up the stroke rate. See that headwind is pretty strong here in the last 500. We've got Radcliffe at about a 36, swinging the backs into bow ball, sending it forward. Radcliffe edging out Stanford here. I'd say Radcliffe has just a tad of open water lead on them. Then BU and Wisconsin neck and neck behind those two leading boats, with MIT open water behind them. And Radcliffe, as we come into the last 250, looks like they're holding their lead on the Cardinals. Looking nice and strong in the last 250 meters. Radcliffe bringing up the rating here. They want to hold their lead. They want to stay ahead, getting those blades right down into the water in this chop. Getting the blade buried, getting it right in. And Radcliffe holding that lead now. As we're coming into about the last 100 meters of the race, that's Radcliffe in the lead, followed by Stanford, with BU and Wisconsin neck and neck, and MIT with open water behind the rest of the boats. Looks like Radcliffe is going to be taking the lead on this one. They've got open water to Stanford. Radcliffe taking it to the finish line here. Nice and strong, moving through. Looks like Radcliffe is through the line. Followed by Stanford here with BU and Wisconsin. It's going to be hard to tell who takes that. BU and Wisconsin through the line, followed by MIT coming in last with open water. So that's the Radcliffe First Varsity 8 taking the Charles River Invitational Cup here, winning it now for the second year in a row. And stay tuned for the second varsity lightweight women's race coming up after